Welcome to another episode of Get Real. I'm your host, Tom Lemons, here with Michelle Mazur. She is an Israeli American, and she has quite a few views on what's going on with the conflict over in the Middle East involving Israel and Iran, which has really escalated over the last few days. And so I want to introduce you. Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Great. So, Michelle, we have a few questions for you today, and we know you have some views on the different issues going on. And one of the things I want to ask you first, just let us know a little bit about your background, where you were born, your family. I know you have some family in Israel right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I was born in Ukraine, Kiev, of the Soviet Union in 1981. I moved to Israel in 1991. And I basically grew up there up until I decided to travel the world when I was 27.
Well, that's always a great thing to do. People have to see what's going on around the world, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, now you're here in America, and you still have family in what you said, Jerusalem. Your mother and your father.
Yes, my mom and dad live in Jerusalem, where I grew up, basically.
And so over the years, as we know, 45 years ago, the regime change in Iran created a lot of hatred towards Jews with the Ayatollahs and Americans too. So as that has progressed and gotten worse, now we see ourselves in a position where Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, has decided we can't wait any longer and take a chance on Iran having the capability of developing a nuclear weapon. And we know they've been enriching uranium for quite a few years, and they are very close to it. And after that 60-day mark, which Trump set when he said you have 60 days to get your act together and come to the negotiating table, the day after, Netanyahu launched an attack in Israel, and that attack continues to this day. And I'd just like to get your opinion on two things. With Netanyahu politically, I know that you have a unique position on that, but I'd also like to get your position on what he has decided to do now to protect the Israeli people.
Yes, so as far as Netanyahu, his internal politics, I do not like that. He's not a very good prime minister internally. However, externally, I believe what he did was correct, because Israeli government, him specifically, would have not launched this attack if they did not believe from intel that they had got that Iran is weeks before developing a nuclear bomb. And while Iran is chanting all these years, death to America, death to Israel, developing nuclear bombs in Iran would have been a grave mistake, and we would have probably did not lose. We would probably not recognize the world that we would see as we knew it before. If they will develop a nuclear bomb, they cannot have it.
Well, Israel's not the only country that would be in danger if they did, right? I mean, if they were able to create, to develop ballistic missiles that could reach 8,000 miles away, they could reach the eastern seaboard of the United States. So no one is safe. Europe, no one is safe from Iran and their current regime having the capability to launch a nuclear weapon. And from some sources, they say it's only just a few days away from having one of those missiles available. And that's something that, of course, the first thing that would happen would be Israel's in danger. Now, there's the Crown Prince, who has been exiled from Iran. He has offered to take over that position in Iran to help, the Iranian people who, for the most part, from what we understand, do not support the current Ayatollah or that regime. What are your thoughts on all that?
This episode of Get Real is brought to you by Tri-Peak Roofing, your Hernando County roofer.
Yes, I believe that the majority of the Iranian people, I cannot talk in percentages, but probably 70% of Iranian people do not support the murderous Iranian regime currently. They want their country back. Persia, Iran used to be a great country. It used to be a free, modern country with women going to the beach, going to the movies, wearing jeans and sunglasses, and living a modern life. That country became a slave to Anatolia murderous regime for the past 45 years. It killed the Iranian country, and they want their country back.
It's so sad to see the women over there. They've I've heard that they've been shot for just having some of their hair hanging out of the hijab. It's just absolutely torturous.
If I can just
Yes, please expound on that.
expand on that, I don't know if you knew that, but in Iran, a woman who cheats on her husband, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but supposedly if she did cheat on her husband, she's being stoned to death. She is
Wow.
being tied and stoned to death.
That's
This
barbaric.
is in 2025.
Still happening.
Still happening. Not to mention all the procedures that women are going through over there do not enjoy from intimate relationship and going on and on and on.
Now, what? Yeah. So your views are the Israeli people could have a fantastic relationship with the Iranian people once again when the Ayatollahs do not control that country.
Yes, and I also want to say not just Israeli people. The first and foremost, American people can have a fantastic trade relationship with Iran. You know,
Well, you've heard of the Abraham Accord that Trump, developed back in his first term, which is something he was bringing Saudi Arabia to, Egypt, all the Middle Eastern countries there to the table to do business with Israel. And that might be something that Iran could do too eventually, right?
yeah. Also, to mention more about that, if Iran developed a nuclear bomb, that bomb first and foremost would have gone to Israel and to United States.
Yes.
Because those two countries, that's what Iran hates the most. So basically, what Israel is dealing right now with, or fighting, I see it as a holy war.
Well, of course, I'm sure the Shah does too. I mean, that's his whole chanting "Death to Israel, Death to America." Now, I want to shift gears a little bit here because we have it's a different conflict, but we have the conflict in Gaza. We have the Israelis attempting to eliminate Hamas, which is going to be a difficult task because there's such indoctrination in the Palestinian people, and that is flowing over into America, and we're seeing so much discord here in our country and protests and violent protests. What are your thoughts on that conflict?
It is supported, paid for by Iran. It is all the roads lead to Rome.
So Hezbollah, Hamas, all of that.
All
right.
the roads lead to Rome. I don't know.
Well,
It's all coming from the same source. All these protests that were in the United States, the attempt to assassinate Trump twice, all of that, it's all Iran. The Hamas is Iran, the Hezbollah is Iran, the Houthis is Iran, the Al Qaeda is Iran,
ISIS was Iran.
ISIS. It's all funded from Iran. This is the evil.
So they are the
Not-
terror nation of the world. They basically create
Yes, that's what
all
they
the
do.
terrorist organizations.
That's what they do, and it's not Iran. Let me just
Right, not the
rephrase
people of
myself.
Iran,
It
right.
is not the people of Iran. It's the Iranian regime, the murderous Iranian regime that creates all the terror and the misery of the world currently, and that regime needs to be eliminated. So once.
So, and on that point, a lot of money is going to our universities and colleges here to indoctrinate young people,
Yes.
which is why you see so many of these out on the street chanting "River to the Sea," and free Palestine. It is. Are they just? What are your thoughts on these young people? How do you stop this? Is it the money flowing into these universities, and how do we prevent that from happening?
It is the money that's flowing to the universities. It is the demonstrators that actually get paid because they're belonging to different groups in the university, that the group is getting paid to do so. And this is why they're doing it. They wouldn't do it for free. That's why they're doing it. Everybody gets paid.
Well, and then switching gears back to the current situation in Iran, we are moments away. I mean, we could be moments away from President Trump making a decision. Of course, he's keeping everything close to his vest, but he has also warned the Ayatollah that we know where you are and you're safe for now. He said, but do you think he should be taken out, or do you think that we should be get involved and drop these bunker buster bombs on Fordow, which is the last remaining nuclear facility in Iran? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that Khomeini needs to be eliminated, yes. Absolutely, he needs to be eliminated. I do not think he needs to be eliminated by Trump, though. I think Trump needs to let Israel do the job. I don't think necessarily that America needs to get involved right now because if America gets involved into this conflict, it's risking Russia and China joining the conflict, or specifically Russia, and then it becomes an all-out war, and this is not the point of all of that. I do think that Trump needs to let Israel to do what it does, and I do think that if somebody needs to drop that bomb, the bunker bomb, that would have been Israel, not America.
Well,
I don't think that America needs to have a direct involvement in this country, this conflict.
And I'm sure that is what's going on in the Situation Room right now, that discussion, because we know that Israel has the capability. Well, we have their back. We have ships in the region, and we are supporting them with armament, whatever they need to continue this offensive against Iran. But you're right. I mean, I guess the question is, if we don't get involved, can Israel, even with that enrichment facility being buried so many feet under a mountain, they don't have the capability to destroy it, but they may have the capability to keep it from operating by destroying the power plant that's above it. They may be able to hinder the process, but it will not permanently destroy it. That's the big concern. That's why I think that there is for now, right?
For now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you said there was some issue. You said there was your concerns, and you had some sentiment on the Russia and China involvement and their what they're thinking. They've been pretty silent so far. What do you think?
I think I'm not really sure about China. I know they're Iran's ally, but I haven't really heard anything. The only thing I do know, China does not like America as far as.
Yeah.
The other thing is Russia is an Iranian ally. There are currently scientists in Iran helping restore this electricity for the people because it was destroyed by the military, by Israeli military. So far they do not get involved, but I have a fear that if America would get direct involvement in this conflict, they will get involved. And then this will become something that nobody wants. Nobody
wants that. And the worst outcome is what we all fear, right? And let's just hope that none of the leaders from China
or Israel to finish this.
Yeah.
This is between Israel and Iran. They need to let Israel finish this conflict.
Okay. And before I let you go, can we have a little discussion about the Russia-Ukraine conflict? Do you mind telling me what your sentiments? Obviously, you were born in Ukraine, so I know that you. In our earlier discussions, I know you weren't real happy with the leadership in Ukraine right now, but and I've visited the region, so I've been to Kyiv, I've been to some of the areas over there, and it's saddening. I've seen some of the destruction. I've seen the massive loss of life. And it's a horrible conflict. And I know a lot of the Americans, especially a lot of the conservatives here in the United States, are completely against helping them. And and I get that as far as the amount of money that the last administration has dumped into the country, and we have no oversight into where that went. So that's a big problem. What are your thoughts on the Russia-Ukraine conflict?
I think the money that was dumped on, not dumped, was meant to help Ukraine, did not really went to help Ukraine. It went to help Zelensky and several of other tops over there. This man is a thief. That's my thought. He sold Ukrainian lands to every single company around the world. There is no more Ukraine. Everybody else owns these lands. The money that was sent to Ukraine was a laundry that was washed by Biden administration, unfortunately.
Wow.
It did not help Ukraine.
So you feel like Zelensky has sold out
Yeah.
to the highest bidder?
That's exactly what I feel like. And that's why he's such a friend with Britain, because there's so many companies in England that bought lands in Ukraine that Zelensky sold. This man owns real estate all over the world from that money. He became one of the richest people in the world, all from all the money that Biden sent him.
Wow. Yeah, there's so much corruption going on over there.
So this is why I feel so bad for the Ukrainian people.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
Because they are great people.
Extremely bad for. I mean, I'm from Ukraine.
Right.
It's not their fault, but I wish it was just not Zelensky who manages this, because he's a thief.
Why
straight up
won't he, why does he want this war to drag on? Why won't he come to the bargaining table and finish this deal and get this war and end this war with Russia? I mean, I think,
Because
I'm not
he
saying
gets paid.
Putin is a war criminal. I'm not saying he's not, but he's not unreasonable. I think that there could be some kind of solution to ending this war. I don't think either side wants to continue killing thousands of their young people, and I don't know. That's my opinion, but why won't he come to the bargaining table and finish the deal?
Zelensky, because he wants to get paid, because he wants to continue the cash flow. Very obvious.
Very sad. Very sad.
Yeah, for as long as the war continues, the cash continues.
Wow.
When the war ends, the cash ends.
Okay, so you have, like I said, your mother and your father still live in Jerusalem, and so far, and like you said, knock on wood, there have not been attacks in Jerusalem. At least not massive attacks. I think there may have been a few that launched in there recently, but for the most part, they've been pretty safe. Tell me how you feel about how you're concerned about your parents, and do they have a safe place to go when those sirens go off and it's time to run for shelter?
Well, first off, I have a lot of not just family. I have a bunch of friends and people I grew up with and that live in Israel. My heart bleeds for Israel right now. But, it is what it is. My parents, they don't have an underground bomb shelter. They have a room inside their apartment where it's extra protective against, we call it mimad. It's if a missile or a rocket hits that building, it will not completely destroy it. However, it's not really.
So you're always concerned.
Yeah, my father was thinking at some point in time, yesterday, maybe they will just leave through Amman because the airspace of Israel is closed.
To go to Amman.
To Jordan, yes.
Yeah.
To go to Jordan.
Well, it is safer probably than being in Israel right now.
To go to Jordan, and from Jordan go to the airport, and then fly.
And fly out back to here? Come here?
Here or Germany, yeah, it depends.
Okay. Well, my heart goes out to your family and your concerns over your family, and I hope that they do stay safe. And I want to thank you for coming on today and giving your thoughts on this conflict, both conflicts. And you have any last thoughts?
No, thank you for bringing me on.
Well, thank you, Michelle. And that's it for Get Real. We'll see you next week.